Mr. Whitcomb, in your speech tonight for the Delaware County Republicans here at the Fairgrounds, you urge voters to help the major problems of the state. Now, what do you consider the major problem, and how would you solve them if you were elected?
The major problem of the state is providing money for education, for highways, for mental health, for air and water pollution, and all the areas of responsibility of state government. Our main problem is that we have a money shortage at this time.
Now, in suggesting the use of a crime computer bank, would you give us a little more detail as to how it would work?
Yes. I've recommended that the state use a computer for a central information gathering source to be operated by the Indiana State Police, so that every major crime in the state would be reported to the Indiana State Police and kept in this computer. As a result of this, it's expected that the matter of identifying criminals, a matter of identifying criminal patterns, and bringing criminals to justice could be implemented, and we could do a much better job in fighting crime.
Now, a Newswire report this morning indicated a weakening in support among the Hoosier delegations to the National Convention for Richard Nixon. What's your comment on this?
Well, my comment is that this is the sort of thing that happens just before a convention. The front runner, people like to shoot at him and make it appear that he isn't as strong as has been indicated. We went through this thing just a few weeks ago in my own convention. I was certain that I had a lot of strength and enough to get over on the first ballot, and I was then, I think, pretty much in the same position Richard Nixon is in now, and we did win by a very good majority, and I would rather imagine that's what will happen in Miami next week.
Well, some people have said it would take one ballot. Others have said it would take two and even three. You think just one?
It's my opinion that Richard Nixon will be nominated on the first ballot. At least Indiana delegates are committed to him for that first ballot, and it's anybody's ball game after that in the event it doesn't get over on the first ballot.
What is your opinion of the two separate polls taken? The two today agreed that Nelson Rockefeller had a lead. What's your opinion on this?
Well, this was interesting in view of a report of just a day or two ago that Richard Nixon was the front runner and that he would be able to beat either Vice President Humphrey or Senator McCarthy. And now, just within a very short time, we get a report that Rockefeller is in that same position. And I'm very happy about this because, in my opinion, the really important thing is that we elect a Republican president. And I'm glad that the polls showed one day that Nixon could do it and the next day that Rockefeller could do it. I couldn't be happier about that.
Getting back in our home state, what's your opinion of the time problem?
My opinion of the time problem, I think, is pretty much the same as the opinion of every other Hoosier. Pretty much disgusted. I think it's a terrible thing that after all the difficulties we've had over the years and all the efforts, sincere efforts that have been made to resolve this problem so that people would know what times they could rely upon, then to have the federal government come in and further confuse the issue and frustrate everyone, particularly right in the middle of summer when programs for various activities have already been worked out. And this is just another example of federal bungling, in my opinion.
How would you handle it if elected?
Well, if elected as governor of the state, of course, I would have very little to do with this. This is a national problem. The federal government has established a time that, and by law, stated the time that Indiana should abide by, and then in the middle of the controversy, the Transportation Department agreed that we would be able to abide by a different time than the law established. It was taken into court, and Judge Cale Holder determined that the Transportation Department abused its discretion, that it shouldn't have done what it did, and ordered that we go back on the other time. At the present time, we're waiting to see what happens in the Circuit Court of Appeals in Chicago next week. It may very well be resolved so that we'll be able to continue on the same time we're operating on at the present time.
Mr. Whitcomb, thank you very much.